So I was scrolling on TikTok when I found out about a 7-month-old baby that was allegedly kidnapped. Now we're going to read about the facts of what happened via some online publications. That being said, there is a lot going on about all of this on TikTok because we have the parents who did press releases, the parents on camera, TikTokers who have very particular opinions about all of this. People are throwing around the names Chris Watts amongst other parents who murdered their own children. So there's a lot to be said here. However, let's talk about the facts before we go into how people are reacting and I'm not going to call them conspiracy theories because I think they're more valid than actual conspiracies. They are completely plausible theories in my opinion. But let's get started from the beginning. I'll also be including clips here and there for context. Foul play, a possibility in case of missing Yucaipa infant as authorities search continues. Emmanuel Haro, a baby from Yucaipa, has been missing since Thursday. The case is being handled by the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. The child's mother, Rebecca Haro, told investigations that she was assaulted in a sporting goods store's parking lot and that when she woke, her infant was gone. Foul play cannot be ruled out in the disappearance of an infant from Yucaipa who was last seen in the parking lot of a sporting goods store, the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department said Saturday. The child, 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro, disappeared on Thursday after his mother, Rebecca Haro, said she was assaulted by an unknown man while changing her son's diaper, the department said. This is part of what people are also critiquing, and we'll get to why, but let me just show you the clips from the news where she's describing this exact situation of when her child allegedly was kidnapped.
Both Rebecca and Emmanuel's father have done interviews with the media that have raised some red flags.
I got him out of the car seat. And I laid him down so I could get his diapers ready. And somebody said, "Hola," and that's all I remember. And I saw white. And then hearing sound, I fell on the floor. And I said, as I got up, I couldn't find my son. I checked around my truck. And I ran into Big 5. And I asked the lady if she saw a baby or someone with a baby. She said no. It was a happy boy. He smiled. Mackenzie loved to kiss him.
He was a healthy baby. He was crawling. He was kicking. He was playing with his toys. Whoever took our son, please give him back.
A lot of people seem to be concerned with Rebecca's demeanor during this interview, and both she and Emmanuel's father referencing him in the past tense. If you're not familiar with this story, on August 14th at around 7 p.m., Rebecca, her husband, and 2 other sons went to their son's football practice. Rebecca claims that both she and her 7-month-old son then left the practice to go to a Big 5 sporting goods store to buy a mouth guard for her son. She then claims that once she pulled into the parking lot, she could smell her son's diaper needed to be changed. She parked the car, then proceeded to change his diaper in the vehicle, and that at that time, someone walked up to them, said hola, and from there, she doesn't remember anything. She just says that she woke up and Emmanuel was gone. She also has a black eye that she says is from this incident. After Rebecca woke up and couldn't find her son, she walked into the store and called 911. However, just from that media interview alone, it seems that a lot of people are suspicious of mom. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. I'll be sure to keep you updated.
Haro said she was rendered unconscious. When she awoke, her son was gone. She told investigators deputies were not able to locate the baby in a search of the area. The department said when investigators confronted Haro about inconsistencies in her initial statement, she declined to continue with the interview. At this point in the investigation, investigators are unable to rule out foul play in the disappearance of Emmanuel, said the department, which also interviewed the boy's father, Jake Haro. There's going to be a lot to be said about Jake Haro, and we'll discuss that in a second. In an interview with KTLA on Friday, Rebecca Haro, who had a black eye, pleaded for the return of her son. She said that she had planned to go to the Big 5 sporting goods store Thursday evening to buy a mouthguard for her older son. If you know anything, please come forward or take him to the cops, she said. Please come and bring my son back, I'm begging you. The child was last seen wearing a black Nike onesie. He has brown hair, brown eyes, and is cross-eyed, KTLA reported. Whoever took my son, please return him, Jake Haro told KTLA. We just want him back. We won't do anything to you. Just give us our son. Keep him safe, don't hurt him, make sure you feed him and change him. And then here it says anyone with information to call number so-and-so. This will all be linked down below.
Whoever took my son, please return him. We just want him back. We won't do anything to you. We just give us our son. Just keep him safe. Don't hurt him.
So there's a lot to be discussed here because, first of all, there are the inconsistencies with the mother's story. That's one aspect of this. The other aspect is that the father, Jake Haro, apparently has abused children in the past. People are pulling up his criminal record, and apparently he abused children intensely enough to cause brain damage.
Now, regarding the charges against Jake Haro, who is the father of Emmanuel, in July of 2024, he was arrested on charges of a convicted felon and narcotic addict owning or possessing a firearms. And then in another case that took place in 2021, it was actually filed in October of 2021, but this is apparently from an incident that happened in 2018. He was charged with willful child cruelty, and he was convicted on that charge, and it looked like he had a suspended prison sentence with probation. So the fact that he does have child abuse on his record is very concerning given the situation we're in now.
This does not look good. The overall opinion on TikTok is that these parents are lying. The implication is that they're lying because something happened to their kid due to them. So the parents may not have meant to kill the child, but the implication is that they did kill the child in some way, or they injured the child and didn't seek help or neglected to help them, resulting in death. The main thing here is that everyone thinks they're guilty and that the child is dead. Everything that happened in between, we obviously don't know, but there is not a single soul that I found on TikTok who thinks these two are innocent in any which way. Let me show you some of what people are saying about all of this.
They're lying. They're lying. And there's nothing that can convince me that they didn't have something to do with it. In all her hyperventilating during her solo interview, there was no tears, not a single tear shed, just this fake hyperventilating. Same with his interview. It's very much giving Chris Watts. Her story is just sketchy to begin with. Why did you pull into a dark corner of a parking lot to change your baby instead of going into a public place when you're alone as a woman? If she was attacked and then woke up after being knocked unconscious to the baby gone, why wouldn't her first instinct be to call 911 instead of running into the store to ask if they saw a baby? They did something to the baby and then set this all up to make it look like the baby was kidnapped. He probably punched her in the eye to give her the black eye, which then gave them the story that she was attacked. And I'm not saying that he punched her in the eye as a domestic violence situation. I'm saying he punched her in the eye to set this kidnapping story up. There's something genuinely so fishy about this whole thing to me. I don't believe it. What are your thoughts on this case in the comments?
In this case, I hate to say we were right, but it's really starting to look that way because someone sent this to me and someone also put it in my comments. Apparently, Emmanuel's father has a history. People are saying that he beat one of his children so badly in the past that he caused brain damage. We have a felony complaint that was filed October 5th of 2021, and if you go down to the October 12th, 2018, that is the willful child cruelty, and he was found guilty June 8th, 2023, convicted. Looks like he had fees, fines, time, and probation. At this point, it's safe to say I'm sure that the police are looking at the parents closely. I mean, we don't even have an Amber Alert. That should be the first sign. I think it's only a matter of time until we find the truth of what actually happened to baby Emmanuel. Obviously, if there are any more updates, I will keep you guys posted.
So the inconsistencies in the story, I don't know what those are because I don't really know what the parents told the police. But regardless, it's also interesting, and this is something that a lot of people have been pointing out. When the mother brought Emmanuel to the sporting goods store with her and had to change his diaper, it appears that she decided to change him in a place that was, I don't know if it was poorly lit, if it was inside a parking structure. It's unclear because I've heard conflicting information. Regardless, wherever she did park her car was a place that happened to have no cameras, no security, nothing that can show whoever kidnapped the child, which is convenient, but also people, especially women, were saying, you as a woman alone with your child, why would you go to an area that's secluded? Why would you go to an area where, I'm not saying you're going to look for cameras when you decide to change your child, but you wouldn't really go to a secluded area, right? Especially if you're busy doing something, you'd want to be in an area where you're not hidden, where someone can't just creep up on you, especially when you're in a vulnerable situation like changing your child, where you can't be super aware of your surroundings because you're doing something that involves your child's wellness. It's also odd because you'd think that if she were going to a store, there would be the store cameras outside or cameras from other businesses that are in the area. It's hard to believe that a store would have no cameras in front of it, no surrounding cameras from other businesses, and that you would go into a secluded parking area or parking lot and change the baby there if the whole point was to go to the store. Wouldn't you just park in front of the store, change the baby? It's just, the whole story is odd, and I don't know if that's what the police is saying with the inconsistencies of why would you go to a secluded area to change the child when the whole point of you being in the car with the child was to go get a mouth guard for your other child. It's all very confusing. It's very difficult to believe, and honestly, it's strange also because you'll have noticed that the mother has a black eye. Now, everyone in the comments on TikTok has concluded that this is an old black eye. This is not brand new. So what they're thinking is that Jake Haro, the husband, beat her up, and they're using this black eye as, oh, the person who attacked me did it. And so people are saying that she's covering for her husband because the husband beat her up, then hurt/killed the kid, Emmanuel, and now they're going with the story of the kid being kidnapped. That's also what's going on TikTok. Regardless, it's been a long time since I've seen people be completely on the same page of everybody thinks they're guilty. Whether it was the father who did everything and now the mother is just kind of siding with him and going with the story, or they both did something together, or they both know something. What is for certain, according to social media, not just TikTok, but Instagram, Twitter, everywhere where I've seen this, people have been commenting that something is wrong. And like I said before, people are comparing this couple to other couples that have murdered their children. So like I said, there's Chris Watts. There was a woman mentioned. I'll put her name here because I'm blanking on it right now. But it's all people that hurt their own children. And people are even putting interview comparisons of mothers who killed their own children or mothers who knew what happened to their own kids, pretending for the cameras, pretending for press releases.
And your mama loves you so much. And your daddy, this whole family love you so much.
Ready? And somebody said,
and you guys have got to be strong.
I saw
because
white.
you are. I just know. I just feel in my heart that you're okay.
And I said, as I got up, I couldn't
keep
find
my faith
son.
that they're going to be okay.
So nobody is on the parents' side, let's put it that way, which is really interesting considering this is a developing case, right? This is brand new. This is not from 10 years ago. Anyway, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Honestly, I do think a lot of this behavior is suspicious at the very least. I also think that there are inconsistencies here from the very little we know. It just doesn't really add up to me how all of this occurred. And regardless, no matter what the inconsistencies are, the reddest, biggest flag will also just be Jake Haro's criminal record, and that being of abusing children. That alone, I think, speaks volumes, right? You abuse children and now what? Your kid is missing. I think there's a reason that everyone's coming to this conclusion, right?
We have a breaking update when it comes to missing 7-month-old baby Emmanuel Haro. It is now being reported by some locals that cadaver dogs were searching the home of Rebecca and Jake Haro and have located blood. They have not located baby Emmanuel, and they're not 100% sure, and it's not confirmed whose blood they found. It is also being reported that law enforcement has filed and is waiting on an additional search warrant. What that search warrant is for isn't exactly clear as of right now. Now, there is a content creator that is local to this case that is reporting on it and giving additional details. I will tag her down below in the caption. But according to her, the night that this incident happened, Rebecca's sister took to social media and was posting all over what Rebecca's initial story was. And allegedly, from that story, the story that Rebecca gave to police officers changed. So that is why law enforcement is stating that there's inconsistencies within Rebecca's story. Also being reported that previous search efforts to locate baby Emmanuel had been called off, and law enforcement is not calling in any additional search efforts. So that leads us to believe that law enforcement knows a lot more information than what's been released at this time. I'm going to tag the local content creator down below if you want to go check out her page. She has since gone to the location that baby Emmanuel was allegedly kidnapped from and just done a video kind of showing the layout and where Rebecca parked.
Anyway, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.